I think he, in his mind, he's like, I can't be full-time with as an employee and do doTERRA part-time. No, 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 that can't happen. That just can't happen. No, no. Hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and today I'm going to review a comment from a commenter that was responding to another commenter. Well, it was getting kind of Inception-like, or kind of deep there. Basically, he dissed the doTERRA compensation plan and business opportunity again. Okay, so this is an individual that has left numerous comments, and you know who you are. Hello, how's it going? But yeah, it's kind of the same, same old tune. But let's read off the comment that this individual left, and then his response to that, and then my response to his response. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so a woman left a comment on one of my videos with K. Nichols, and my response to K. Nichols' video is, hope that ain't confusing. Anyways, she said, what concerns me about what she said is why didn't she quit earlier? I mean, she found out all these stuff after 5 years. I would quit before or not joining at all. Of nothing of it convinced me. Okay. Basically, they're saying K. Nichols should have quit sooner or not got started to begin with doTERRA because she left a video called I Quit doTERRA and gave some reasons why, which I already did a review on. But anyways, this person then follows up and says, I think she had been burned out because she wasn't successful and that's why. Okay, so this comment triggered this individual to leave a comment, and he said in response, essentially, this is why I would hate to be a doTERRA rep. Okay, strong words. He says, if you quit in 1 year, they accuse you of not giving it any real effort. I don't know who they is, but it sounds like this person is making stuff up. Okay, I certainly wouldn't say that. Because in my video, I did a video, it was basically, the top 7 things that skeptics or haters or whoever makes against doTERRA, and one of the main things is there's 5 ways that I've observed people are successful in doTERRA as a business opportunity. This could be argued in life, but more so network marketing and doTERRA because it is a relationship-based business. But number 1 is your skills. Number 2 is your goals. Number 3 is your effort. Number 4 is the quantity and quality of your network, and number 5 is your lead generation system, basically how people get in the door, how many people you talk to on a daily basis. Those 5 things are extremely important. He only mentioned 1, which is typical because they leave out stuff that's important and that would contradict their belief system and argument, but hey, we're not going to get into that. Okay, he then says, if you wait for 4 years, they call you stupid. Again, I'm not sure who they is, and if they actually said that, they are unreasonable. Okay, anyways, sounds like he's just making stuff up to kind of make it seem more dramatic or maybe support his point a little bit more. But anyways, those people that, or they, anyways, here we go. He says, in reality, oh, so now you're going to break it down what reality is? Because they wasn't reality, or was reality? Okay. Here we go. No, let's give him a chance here. He says, that woman made it to elite. That is the top 6% of all WAs, or wellness advocates. She did well. It's the compensation plan that did her in. That's right, because when you have a victim mentality, it's always somebody else's fault. It's the company, it's the product. It's never the individual, right? It's never the person who chose what enroller they would enroll with. The person who chose what products they wanted to go with. It's never the person that chose what company to go with. It's never the person who chose to put in the time or the effort into a business. It's never the individual, right? It's always somebody else's fault. He says, not her fault. I'm not saying it's all someone's fault, but to just not give any, take any responsibility for your own thoughts, words, and actions, that's not reasonable. Okay, so he's definitely anti-MLM, just so you know some context. So he's basically saying stuff that only supports his position. he doesn't want to look at or doesn't want to acknowledge the stuff that would contradict his position, which is very typical of an individual that's being unreasonable. He'll say he's reasonable because he's like trying to look at both sides, but he's not, okay? Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you know who you is, okay? I still love you, but this is tough love. Okay, and then he says, she did better than 94% and has little to show for it. Oh, and it gets better right here. He says, as Lance would say, let's keep it real. Okay. First of all, most of what he says so far is not actually real. Come on now. Alright, he says, how much do you think an employee at Microsoft would make if they were the top 6% in their company? Then he goes on to say, I'm guessing about $4 million per year. Margaret Peggy Johnson, Executive VP Business Development, Microsoft Corp, was granted $32 million in stocks alone, not including her wages. Okay, so first of all, I covered this in my other video about the skeptic rebuttals, but I'm going to just say it again because this individual, I think he believes that the more he says something, the more it's true. Maybe for his mind, but it just doesn't make sense. First of all, in order to get that type of corporate executive position, you typically have to now have an MBA from a top-tier school, okay? So keep in mind, that's 2 years of your time that has to be spent there. To get an MBA, you have to have a bachelor's degree, okay? That's 4 years. We're talking about 6 years right now. And now today, bachelor's degrees aren't typically earned in 4 years. They take anywhere from 5 to 6 years. And so I had to do summer school when I went to Ohio State just to graduate on time in 4 years. So it actually took me like 4.5, almost 5, but not quite 5 years to get my bachelor's degree. So let's just say it takes 5 years to get a bachelor's degree and 2 more years to get a master's degree from a top. This is assuming you get accepted into these schools too, for the bachelor's and the master's. So that's 7 of your years just in school. And how long does it take to basically get a return on that investment? I've read that a lot, and for master's degrees it's 3 to 5 years after you've earned the master's degree, and for a bachelor's degree it's something similar, 3 to 5 years, because nobody ever pays all their college debt all off at once. And so basically you have 7 years of school plus another 5 to 10 years of getting the return on your investment before you break even on that time investment that you made in school. So let's just say it takes 5 years to pay off all your undergraduate and your graduate degree debt. Okay, so that's 5 years plus the 7 years it took to get it. That's 12 years in school just to get to the point where you have earned all the degrees and paid them off, okay? And then this is a top level position, right? So you typically have to be groomed and get the right positions, the right timing, you know, the right people have to retire or promote you or groom you or whatever it is. So that could be another 5 to 10 years, okay? Let's just say it took you 5 years because you're a rock star, all right? So you got the 12 years plus that's 17 years of your life that you spent trying to get to that position. And yes, by that point you would be a very small percentage of the company because it took you 17 years to get there, okay? And you actually stayed with one company, which these days is very rare, okay? So most people have over 10 different jobs by the time they turn like 50s, like 55 years old, and certainly more than that when they hit retirement age of 65 years old. So again, when I bring that up, I brought that up in conversation with this person, but it's kind of like, they're like, no, Lance, no, I don't want to hear it. And it's just like, really? So you're just gonna run from the truth of what it takes to get there? And then he says something like, "It's not. That's not an apples to apples comparison, Lance." And it's just like, well then, how did that person get to that position? You have to look at prerequisites. That person just doesn't magically drop into the position. There's lots of schooling, cost, time, and that doesn't even include all the people who start and quit or start and don't graduate. All that too. There's a failure rate in all that, right? So I know I'm going a little bit deeper than normal, but this is the level of detail that you have to go when somebody says this person made $32 million. It's like, okay, they're an exception of an exception of an exceptional person to do that, okay? So to earn that much, they're the top 1% of probably the 1%, you know, like, so again, we have to try to look at things in a way that doesn't just support our position. We have to look at the pros and cons of that argument, the pros and cons of an MLM business, right? Because there are that, so we can come to an accurate conclusion. We can't just throw a $32 million person out there and say, see, you can do better in corporate America. Yes, you probably could if you spent 17 years of your life and met all those criteria from an education, grooming, and all that stuff standpoint. Possibly, right? So, but do you want to spend 17 years of your life doing that? Maybe you don't want to be a corporate executive. Maybe you want to be a stay-at-home mom and work from home and maybe not make $32 million, or maybe make $32,000 or double $32,000. Maybe 64,000, and that's fine, right? Like like the whole money thing is, and this person's also mentioned in other comments like, well, I got bills to pay, I got house and cars, and well, those are your decisions that you made. You chose to buy that house, you chose to buy that car, you chose to have whatever you have, and now you got to maintain that lifestyle with a certain income. And so in order to do that, you need to make a certain amount. And this individual has gone on to say a lot of times too, like, well, basically he thinks that he deserves to start at a certain position with a network marketing company from a salary or income standpoint, and he doesn't realize that it's a lot of work involved and nothing's guaranteed. But if you have those 5 things that I mentioned previously and you don't quit or give up, I'm not going to blame or shame anybody for that. I'm gonna just say, like, well, what did your network size and quality look like? Like, how many people did you talk to on a daily basis? Like, there's lots of things I can do to improve as well. I'm not saying I'm all high and mighty, I got it all figured out. No. But this person is basically saying, like, I deserve to start off at a high income and rank, or get there really, really quickly because I'm just me and I gotta like that in a network marketing business. Or, hey, look at the corporate America. This person made this amount and you can do it too. That's a better option. It's like, did you run the numbers on? You ran the numbers on the end result, which is the income, but you didn't talk about the come up game for Miss Peggy Johnson. Okay, did you talk about the come up game? How much time and school and money she invested into that? I don't think so. Okay, so if anybody's going to try to use my words and say let's keep it real, let's not just keep it real, but let's keep it comprehensive too, and thorough and detailed and objective. All right, so okay, we went in because he's gone in. He's left probably over 50 comments on my channel. That's a world record. I mean, he's probably got the most comments. You know who you is, okay? I still love you, but it's tough love. Alright, so he actually finished off with something and said, top 6% of WAs or wellness advocates are basically volunteer workers with paid lunches and a few bottles of sample products. Okay, so that's an exaggeration, but okay. He doesn't realize that a lot of people have full-time jobs and they're okay with earning part-time income or earning their oils for free, or they have multiple part-time jobs and are okay with earning part-time income with doTERRA, and that's okay with them, right? You don't have to leave everything you know and love, your full-time job, to pursue a doTERRA business when you haven't hit a certain income goal that allows you to pay all your bills and earn a profit. So I think in his mind, he's like, I can't be full-time as an employee and do doTERRA part-time. No, that can't happen. That just can't happen. No, I gotta all or nothing lands. It's just like, that's not even realistic. Like Eric Worre in his GoPro books talks about a lot, like, and even on his channel, like, people say, like, I'm a dentist and I'm also a network marketing professional, or like, I'm a plumber and I'm also a network marketing professional, or I'm a lawyer and I'm also a network marketing professional. So he's saying, like, you're a professional in maybe a more traditional field, but you're also a professional in network marketing, and that means you do treat it like a business if you want to do the business. But you also have another job until you want to make a transition. Maybe you hit a certain income goal with the network marketing company, whether it takes you 1 day, 1 year, 10 years, however long it takes. If you believe in the person that enrolled you, the products, and the company, then it's just a matter of time, right? Okay, he finally says, that's what it equates to after all expenses are calculated from what I see. Yes, there are a lot of expenses that come with the network marketing business or doTERRA in general, with supplies and books and handouts and time that you spend. Like this past weekend, I just drove to a woman's house to basically do the equivalent of like a wellness consult and answer questions. I didn't get paid for that, but it's part of the relationship building and maintaining process. Like, I love talking with people and helping people with their health and helping their family. The more people that use natural solutions and become a healer in their own home and are able to feel empowered because they have something within arm's reach that they can use and understand the benefits and uses of, it makes my day. I'm willing to do that for free. And that's really what it comes down to. And a lot of experts who are in the entrepreneurial field will, and this is what Gary Vee and some other people kind of sound off too, is like, what can you do that you're so passionate about that you could do for free, but people will pay you for it? And that's probably Jack Canfield. But anyways, like, you love doing something for free, but people pay you for it. And that doesn't always mean they may pay attention, right? They may pay with money, they may pay you with referrals, and they may do something, but you know, typically it's in the context of money. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is I am passionate about just helping people, and I know that as I help more people, the money will come as a side effect, right? So helping people should always be the focus. And I would also add helping people that want to be helped and when they're ready. So it's kind of like the threefold thing, and that really makes sure that it's a good fit. All right, so anyways, what are the lessons learned, you may be asking? So the lessons learned is you would need to factor in the cost, the timing, and success rates of college graduates, also people who apply for college too that don't get in, and corporate jobs, you know, how many people actually get a job after college, and in a field that they were designed to get, right? And then, and also stick with the job, the same job. Or, you know, you could switch jobs, but anyways, you still need to understand how long it takes to get to a certain position in order to come to an accurate conclusion. Because there's a lot of costs and time and acceptance and failure rates that are built into all of that, instead of just throwing a $32 million number out there for somebody's salary. Again, that's the end result. That's not the come up game, all right? So if you want to talk about the come up game, I think a lot of people who just are anti-MLM, they're just like, see, look at the income disclosure statement of this company or that company, and like, see, barely anybody make money. And it's just like, well, let's look at the income disclosure statement of corporate executives, if you want to use that example. That's right, there really isn't one, because they don't show how. You kind of have to look at their bio, and you have to do some analysis, and you know, kind of piecemeal together, and you'd be like, wow, it took them 17 years to get to where they are, you know. And it's just like, well, I mean, if you put 17 years and that much money in network marketing business, you certainly would have a lot better home life, that's for sure. Even if you weren't making 32 million, maybe you make 320,000. Maybe you make a fraction of that, but hey, you got that. You got the home life, right? You get to work from home, set your own hours, being your own boss. You don't got the fancy title. Maybe you do have a fancy title. I don't know. I mean, but anyways. And then the next learning lesson, because you're probably like, dang, Lance, all right, is unfortunately unreasonable people prefer being right and winning over trying to be more objective and doing a cost-benefit analysis for multiple industries, even if it contradicts their agenda, position, or whatever they're trying to prove, right? And I think that's the big thing. Like, nobody wants to do research in order to prove themselves wrong. Like, that even sounds weird saying it, but I think it's important to try to poke holes in your own argument and really look at, all right, there are some exceptions to every rule. There are things that have to be in place in order for something to happen, like prerequisites, like you need a bachelor's degree to get a master's degree. To get a master's degree, that is pretty much for a high-level corporate executive these days, because competition's so fierce for those positions and there's so little positions, you really have to have that, and from a top-tier school. Or you would have to been with the company for 20, 30 years and, you know, start from the bottom, as Drake said, and work your way up to the top of the corporate ladder. Like, and that takes a long time, unless you're just a rock star. And in that case, you know, that's a super exception to all that, right? Anyways, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you did. Hit subscribe for future video updates. And most importantly, check out the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on. And I'll see you in the next video.